Woo! Hey, good morning, how's it going? It's pretty wild. The world is going crazy. I'm not sure how many of you have been following me for a while, but those of you who have been might remember a video I made, kind of as a paranoid goof at the time, about 6 months to a year ago. And what I'd done in that video is I had basically just done a reaction video to 2 Google searches I did. I just put 2 Google searches up beside each other. The first Google search was medically assisted suicide. That is an issue that is really getting prominence in Canada right now because it is really picking up steam. They are really pushing to just put down the elderly, the mentally ill, the homeless, babies up to a year old. They're starting to say that's okay too. It is really weird how fast we went from you have to get this shot to save grandma to, grandma's actually pretty expensive. We could probably quietly put her to sleep. I was actually kind of upset the other night when my girlfriend's youngest just mentioned casually that a bunch of her friends had been thinking about it. Just casually. That's fucked up. It makes me wonder how many people are in dire straits and just don't see any hope for the future, and they see that as the easy way out. And that's what this government has to offer. This is what the government has to offer the next generation. No hope. There is no hope for your future. You might as well just end it now. If you don't get with the program, if you don't do what you're told, if you just opt out of this new world order, if you don't agree that you'll probably be happier with nothing, if you don't want to surrender your body autonomy to experimental medication, shit, even if you're just feeling sad, you are crazy and will be put down like a sick animal. Feeling depressed? Just give up. I mean, it's not a coincidence, probably, that they quietly built isolation centers in different locations across Canada. Yeah, isolation centers. I think we know what they really are. They also quietly, a couple years ago, you could see on the Government of Canada website, they ordered a bunch of electronically activated guillotines. Well, guillotines are for cutting fucking heads off. What do they need those for? And I mean, if you order a bunch of them, it seems like you plan to be doing a bunch of killing. You can't find that on the Government of Canada website anymore, but I remember seeing it. I remember seeing screenshots of it. It was all over TikTok about a year ago. Gone now. But they did it. They have those. They built those things. And you don't build and staff billion-dollar facilities unless you plan to use them. I would say that it is a fair to better chance that all of the missing money that the Conservatives or anyone else keeps asking the Liberals about is probably invested in these big new facilities. Some of it, anyway. You know that everybody had to get their little piece of it. There's an awful lot of prep and planning that's gone into this whole thing. Everything that we've experienced over the last 3 or more years has all been part of the plan. They have an objective that they are inching us toward. They are easing us into it. Agenda 2030, the New World Order, digital currency, transhumanism. Just bit by bit, lockstep, just inch by inch, boil that fucking frog until you're in too fucking deep and you're cooking too much to ever turn things back and get out of it. And they do it all under the guise of virtue. Compliance is virtue. Well, I hate to break it to you, but compliance is not virtue. Compliance is cowardice. The opposite of bravery is not fear, it is compliance. Being brave doesn't mean that you're not scared. Being brave means that you're scared, but you do it anyway. All these compliant, don't want to make wave motherfuckers are going to just march us right into a bunch of genocidal Fourth Reich bullshit. Yeah, Fourth Reich bullshit. They call it the Fourth Industrial Revolution, but I think that's not really what they mean. I think they mean a Fourth Reich. I know! Those words sound crazy as I speak them. It turns out that globalist organization WEF, the World Economic Forum, is actually the real world Hydra. In the movies and comics, Hydra was an organization that would plant operatives in positions of influence in politics, in governments, in entertainment, in media, all over the world. The WEF has also done that. Yeah, and just like Hydra, it has its roots in World War II Germany. The whole organization, the second in command of our country, has a grandpa that was a Nazi. She's in the WEF, and so is the leader of the country, and so is apparently half of the fucking cabinet of the country, and the person that runs the WEF, well, his dad's a fucking Nazi too. Yeah, what's more, his dad, Eugen Swab, well, that's where the eugen and eugenics comes from. Yeah, there's a bunch of people that have connections to this whole thing that are really into the whole let's weed out all the useless eaters thing. Yeah, Bill Gates, his dad has connections to that too, and he has expressed pretty similar sentiments. And old bitch tits Billy Boy, well, he's carrying on a fine family tradition. He says with effective use and application of vaccines, we can bring down the world population. Well, vaccines are supposed to save lives. What do you mean? There's an awful lot of talk and a real attempt to normalize reducing the population. It's all under the guise of climate and the environment, but I don't really think that it's a case of human beings being overpopulated for this planet. I suspect that there's probably space for lots more human beings. I think it's maybe more to the point that we're getting to a population where there's too many of us to effectively control. They need to evolve their systems of control. As is often the case with similar tyrants in the past, the people pushing forward these drastic, big changes to the world and how we live our lives, they think that they're really innovating. But they're really not trying anything new. This is a story that is played out over and over and over again, and it's pretty likely that it's going to keep playing out as we go forward. People don't change. The people that are making these sort of decisions are running really old playbooks. They're running playbooks that have been handed down to them through the generations. Reason being, well, the reason they're old playbooks is because they're effective. Those strategies work. Divide and conquer is such an old strategy because it is such an effective strategy. Divide people amongst themselves. Identity politics and virtue signaling, I mean, everyone knows that they had good intentions. You know, the people that did all those things, they set out to change the world for the better, and they really believed that they were doing that. But over time, that got weaponized. Identity politics were weaponized against people. The rise of cancel culture was part of that. While the citizens are so busy squabbling amongst themselves, family against friend, friend against coworker, fan against celebrity, celebrity against celebrities, politician against celebrity, celebrity against politician. They're far too busy to pay attention to what's really going on. They're distracted. Infiltrate and divide, divide and conquer. So many countries around the world have politicized identities to the point that it is a major component of their campaigns and the policies that they're writing. I find it very unlikely that it is a coincidence that all of these countries have been pumping money into Ukraine, who actually has a government-affiliated neo-Nazi militia known as the Azov Battalion, that Western countries were reporting on as a bad thing as recently as, 2016, but suddenly you can't hear anything about it. A news company that accidentally showed footage of Ukrainians celebrating by showing a particular salute was suddenly uninvited from Ukraine. They were asked politely to leave. It's not a coincidence. It is pretty fucked up, though, that what was a paranoid goof a year ago is here today. It's real. The government wants you dead. They want you to go willingly, and they want you to thank them for it.